First thing you need to do is verify the fuel's full. All the motorhomes are required to be brought back full gas, and the miles are recorded on your contract. It is an overdrive automatic, so you have to have your foot on the brake to put it in drive. Once it's in drive, it's an automatic. We do want to caution you going down steep hills. We don't want you to burn up the brakes. This is not a car, so treat it like a truck. So you want the transmission to slow you down. So go ahead and put it down into the number 3 gear if you're going down steep hills. If you're on the freeway and you're just going down some hills and you feel like you're overriding the brakes, you can use this tow haul feature, which lights up on the dash and it tells you you're in the tow haul feature. That'll actually drop the transmission down so that you're not riding the brakes all the time. So we just ask you not to override the brakes on the motorhome. Make best use of the brakes. Does have cruise control. Turn it on right here. Set the speed right there, and it's in cruise control. Hit your foot on the brake. You hit resume, goes right back to the last preset position. You can turn it off, or you can hit the coast. The dash is pretty self-explanatory. It's just like any other dash you're going to find in any other vehicle. Temperature setting from cool to warm, fan volume from high to low, air conditioning to defrost, and everything in between. Strictly enforced non-smoking, so we took out the cigarette lighter and the ashtray. Don't smoke in this. We're going to charge you if you do. There is a better power point right here if you wanted to plug in a laptop or a car phone, something you're going to do on the DC plug. You do have emergency brake. It's clear down here. Parking brake or emergency brake, whatever you want to call it. And open the door. And the brake release is right up here above it. Pretty simple. And the hood release is way down below, so there's not a chance of you accidentally getting those two mixed up. Some units do have backup cameras. We don't want you to rely upon those solely. If you're going to have somebody, if you're have this thing in reverse, you want to have somebody back there giving you instructions. You can watch them give instructions on that. While I'm sitting here, the vanity curtain, which I'm going to show you in a second, has Velcros right here. So you're going to Velcro a vanity curtain once you get parked right in that position. So I'm just going to hop up and I'm going to show you that. Vanity curtain should be in one of the cupboards up here somewhere. You can see here's the Velcro. You're simply going to take the Velcro, attach it around so that people can, you have some privacy in the middle of the night. Anyway, don't take that home. Make sure I get it returned. Overhead sleeping. This has a hardboard on it. Weight limit on this one side is 250 pounds. You flip it over, you notice you have a couple of handles right here, or hooks. This is for your slat ladder. Make sure that these rubbers don't come off. You don't end up poking a hole in the linoleum. That'd be expensive. Simply put those hooks right there. Pretty simple. When you're returning it, make sure that these hooks are up, not down. Okay, want them on the upside like this. Lay them over so where it's missing, so when you fold it up, this cushion is not hitting them as well. So that's exactly how I want to return. You do have a DC, or there is an AC plug up above here. I'm just going to point that out. You do have curtains that pull across here as well. The TV needs to be in this position when you're going down the road. There is a tightener or tensioner, if you will, over here. And you can simply swing it once you're stationary, so you can watch it at the couch on this particular one. It does have a DVD player on it as well. The motorhome does come equipped with an antenna, and there's an antenna boost here, and when the green light's on, it's boosted. Digital age, you either have a TV or you don't have a TV, basically. Here is the antenna. To crank it up, you simply just crank the thing that boy up. It's a T. What it's doing is standing up, making this a T right now. Once it's a T, then you can actually swivel this thing 180 degrees. Notice I line up those two little arrows right there before I drop it back down. I'm going to bring it down to the down position. You can hear it just kind of tighten and clunk when it gets to the top. And we're going to set up the camera on the other side, turn around and run out the slide out, and go from there. Once you get to your location, you've got the engine off, it's in park, and the emergency brake set. Next thing you're going to do before you probably get outside is run out the slide outs or slide outs. You want to make sure that you're not running into a post or bush or branches or something like that. Once you've done that, go ahead and just push the out button. Hold it out. This particular unit's a 25-footer, and so it has a freestanding table. So once you've run out the couch, you can see the table receptors. Freestanding table will have a couple of table legs, and there's the table. I'm not going to take the time to set it up, but it's pretty self-explanatory. I do want to show you that you do have access underneath the couch, and the reason is I want to show you you can reach your hand up into here, and that's how you pull up the seat belts. So you can reach your hand not through here, but through here. So you can run it. That's how you bring in the seat belt. So this one has 3 seat belts on it, as do all of the couches have 3 seat belts. The barrel chair that you can't see over there has seat belts as well. So if the kids are under 60 pounds, they're required to be belted at all times. We're going to get set up and do a shot on the control panel and go from there. Tells you how all the systems are working in the motorhome. This is the convenience center. They're located, in different places at different motorhomes, but they are pretty much tells you how all the systems are working in the motorhome. So it really is a nice convenience center. All the dials and stuff are at the same place. When I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to talk about 3 systems: AC, DC, and LP. AC is electricity. DC is direct current or battery. And LP is liquid propane gas. Those are the 3 systems that run the motorhome: AC, electricity, alternating current, DC, and LP. So I'm going to use those terms interchangeable. This tells you how much propane you have on board. Boom. Just by holding down on this button, it tells you the propane's full. This one tells you that the battery has a full charge on it. The fresh water is completely full. That's your potable, portable. That's the water that you're taking with you. That's water on board. Shows that the black tank is completely empty. That's where the toilet and the sewage goes to, and the gray tank is completely empty. That's the way you want to pick up a motorhome, completely clean, ready to go. As you use the toilet, this black tank will fill up, and as you use the shower and the sinks, this tank indicator will fill up. If you are consuming fresh water to do it, this tank, obviously, this indicator will go down, and then obviously as you're using propane, that indicator will go down. So you need to monitor those once or twice a day. Now, I'm going to jump around on these switches. To get water out of this freshwater tank, you have to pump it out. I don't know if the video picks that up, but you got a little bit of a thump sound. That's your water pump. To get water out of the freshwater tank, it's a reservoir or tank. It's your potable, portable, not drinkable, but water you're taking with you. You have to pump it out, because it's just a stagnant tank. So I don't care whether you're going to flush the toilets with it, you're going to take a shower with it, or you're going to use the sink. Doesn't matter. You have to pump it out. If you're hooked up to water, you're not using this fresh water supply, hence you don't need the water pump. Quickly, I'm going to hot water tank, 6 gallons, 12 minutes is what you need to know. Don't turn it on until 15 minutes before you need to take a shower. You can hear it tick, 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 and a sound right now. Oh, my timing's off a little bit. It's propane. It's driven by propane. There we go. I don't know if the video caught that. But it's a 6-gallon tank, and once you light it, the propane's heating it up. Very fast recovery, so you can take showers in concession. Designed, it's only 6 gallons, so it's designed so that and I'll talk about this later, so you can just get wet, turn off the water, get soaked up, and then get rinsed off. So I'm going to turn this on. Have it off the rest of the time. Only use it 15-20 minutes before you're going to need hot water. The rest of the time, have it off. This is just a blank, and this is just light switches. Most of the lights are point of service. Like if I reached over here and turned on the light above the couch, that's where the light switch is, that's where it is. A couple of the lights that are higher than reach are going to have other light switches. So you can turn them on here and then do point of service, or you can activate them there. We already demonstrated the slide out. Next thing I want to talk about is the generator. Generator is a gas engine. It produces alternating current. The reason you have a generator on there is to produce alternating current. You're trading gasoline for alternating current. The gas supply for the generator is the fuel tank in the Ford itself. This is where I mentioned that the Ford gas tank is 55 gallons, and the generators, all generators, have what's called a 3/4 tube. Said the other way around, when your gas tank on the Ford gets down to a quarter tank of gas, this is designed to be out of gas. That way you're not stranded yourself out in the middle of the boonies or something. You can't get to the gas station. You need to have the generator on. You must have the generator running to run roof air conditioner, microwave, TV, any plug-in, or you need to be plugged into shore power. So those appliances are AC only appliances. TV, DVD player, roof air conditioner, microwave, and anything that you plug in, those are strictly, you either need to be plugged into shore power, which we'll demonstrate in a little bit, or you need to have the generator running. The other purpose for the generator is to charge up or recharge the house battery here. Should this battery get down low and you're not hooked up electricity and you're not driving, then you need the generator on to do that. To start the generator, always prime it first. So you hit prime, boom, the light comes on. Go ahead and start it. Well, that one happened to start right up because we had it running a few minutes ago. If it doesn't start in 6 seconds, let off on it. Don't keep pushing on the button. It's not going to start if it doesn't start in 6 seconds. Let off on it, count to 6, push on the button again, it'll start right back up. It's just like your lawnmower at home that didn't start on the first pull, but it starts on the second or third. So you never want to start the generator under load, so want to make sure the air conditioner is off. And you never want to stop the generator under load. And we're going to talk about that when we get to the generator. I'm going to pan over here and look at the kitchen a little bit. Double sink, big deal. 3-burner stove, oven. We're going to talk briefly about the oven, but it hardly ever gets used. You do need to bring a striker, some matches. You turn this to the light position. Boom, lights right up. If you don't have a striker with you, this will be broke. It's Murphy's Law. It won't work. So this burner lines up with this one, and then this one. So pretty simple. All I'm doing is pushing in on it and turning it to light. The oven, conversely, doesn't light by this. You need to have a striker to light the oven. And we're not going to put this on video, or we're not going to catch this. You take your striker, and you'll see underneath the broiler pan where there is actually a little flame, a little lighter igniter. You'll hold it there. You turn this to pilot and push on it. Okay. Once you push on it, you've manually opened the gas valve. Then it lights. Bring your striker back out. Let it heat up for about 6 seconds. It's hold it open a thermocouple. Then when you let off on the pilot and it's still lit, then it's warm enough, it's open, then you can light it. And then obviously you can bake in it. It's designed so you can turn it back to the pilot and leave it on so you don't ever have to light it again. That's a bad idea. Don't do that. You're going to use the oven, take the time and light it every single time. I don't want the pilot light running while you're not using it. So we're going to talk about the microwave, then we're going to get reset up on the refrigerator, and then we'll go in the back bedroom and talk about the thermostat. The microwave. It's one of those AC appliances. Remember I said one of the appliances that you had to have AC? It's also my indicator species. It tells me how the motorhome's doing. If this LED readout is lit up, I know the motorhome has AC power. I don't know if it's because you're running the generator, you're plugged into shore power. This tells me the motorhome has power. If this isn't lit up, you have a source problem. Source problem meaning the breaker on the generator, which we'll eventually show you, has been tripped, or the breaker on the shore power, the park, or maybe you're at somebody else's house and the breakers in their garage have tripped, okay? You have a source problem if that's not lit up. If that's lit up and another appliance, AC appliance doesn't work, then you have an appliance problem, and it's a breaker, which we're going to show you in a little bit. So if the TV doesn't work, one of the plugins doesn't work, it's a GFI. If the TV doesn't work, it's a breaker. If the air conditioner doesn't work, it's a breaker. So you have an appliance problem. We're going to cover that in a little bit. So we're going to get reset up with Grant over here on the refrigerator and then continue on. Here we're set up on the refrigerator. First thing you need to know about the refrigerator, it needs to be reasonably level. You don't want to take this home, park on the steep driveway, end up buying a $1,500 refrigerator. Refrigerator, just like the refrigerator at your own home, has to be level when it's running. This is a two-way refrigerator, so it's one of the few appliances that will operate just as well on two different sources. It'll operate on AC and it'll operate on LP. And when the auto button's on, it will automatically seek alternating current. So let me go through this. You've got the on-off button, the gas-only button. So you turn it off, the unit's completely off. It's not on AC or LP. It's not on, period. Okay? When the button's put on and it's on auto, it will automatically seek alternating current when available. If you unplug, you're leaving the campsite and moving to the next destination. When you unplug, it will automatically, hence the term auto, automatically seek alternating current. When not available, go to liquid propane and light itself, just like that. So that brings up another point. When you're driving down the road, it's on LP, so you have an exposed flame. When you go into a gas station or there's any flammable flames, you want to make sure that before you go into the gas station, you turn the unit completely off. You're extinguishing the flame, and as you exit the gas station, go ahead and turn it back on. You notice it's checking itself, looking for AC. There's no AC in light and propane, so boom. There is some travel locks down here. You want to teach the kids to push on those and pull at the same time. Push and pull. And then the best tip I can give you is fill up the freezer. If you're not going to put meals, frozen meals for the next coming week in there, put a couple bags of ice in there, especially in the summertime, because it's working its butt off. If this is empty, it's going to have a hard time keeping the refrigerator cold. So even if you put bags of ice or bottles of milk jugs full of water, fill up the freezer, either with food or with ice of some kind. So let's move back to the furnace in the back bedroom. Okay, we're in the back bedroom. That's where most of the thermostats are, and this operates, it's a climate control just like at home. It operates the cool and the furnace, so it operates the air conditioner and the forced air gas furnace. So again, one of the appliances I told you before that you have to have AC power for is the air conditioner. So I glance up at the microwave. I have an LED readout, so I know I got AC power. I'm going to turn it to cool. I'm going to turn it to on, and I'm going to run the thermostat down to nothing. We do it this way because when you're running the air conditioner, we want it on all the time. We don't want it to surge on and off, on and off, on and off the thermostat, because you're more apt to trip a breaker, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So I don't care whether it's on high or low, cool, on, no thermostat, okay? Conversely, or opposite, and because you're mainly using air conditioner when you're awake. Conversely, the furnace at night, forced air gas furnace. So forced air meaning a DC fan is going to run the fan for about 15 seconds, and then after that, it's going to send a signal and say you can light the propane. So forced air, I'm going to turn it to furnace. I'm going to leave it on auto. Now listen, you're going to hear click sound. So it's about 75 or however. So that's just the fan coming on. So the fan's going to run for about 15-20 seconds. Probably won't pick it up on video. You're going to hear a tick, 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 and it's going to light the furnace. And that's the propane. Furnace is your biggest consumer of propane, so if you're using furnace a lot, you're going to go through a lot of propane. Now, I'm going to turn the furnace off. What you don't hear is the propane, the furnace actually shut off. And just like it ran for 15 seconds before it lit, now it's going to run for 15 seconds before it turns itself off. Next thing we're going to show you is the breakers. So we're going to reset up on another shot. Okay, I'm actually on the back bed laying on my stomach, upside down, shooting this, so bear with me. This is the breaker panel. It's below the mattress, not under the mattress, but below the mattress, kind of by your toes. I've opened the door already for you. So this shows you all of the fuses, tells you where they go to. One of these red lights, if a fuse blows, one of these little red indicator lights will light up. So everything's good now. Hardly ever blow any fuses, so we're not overly concerned about that. But I want to pan over to the other side and show you the breakers. Boy, those breakers probably look just like the ones at your house, okay? So nothing magic about them. They're labeled. You got one for the microwave, which hardly ever trips, one from the air conditioner, TV, GFI plug, and the mains. So there you go. Now, what does a trip breaker look like? Looks like that. So something doesn't work. What's your diagnosis? Well, the first thing is if you're looking for an AC appliance that doesn't work, first thing you're going to look for is the microwave lit up? Do I have a source problem? No, microwave's lit up, so I know I got power, but the air conditioner doesn't work. So I'm going to come back here and guess what? Trip the breaker. Lots of times when the parks are under a high peak demand, there's not enough power. The park doesn't have enough power to supply everybody with these air conditioners. Some of these motorhomes have two air conditioners, flat screen TVs. So there's not enough power to go around, so it trips the breaker. So just come out here and trip it back in here. appliance or the breakers are in there for your protection, so you don't break anything. So anyway, we're going to shoot a few things here by the doorstep. Tell you about the battery, the house battery, and then we'll go outside. Before we head out, wanted to go over a few things right here in the bathroom. There's the GFI plug I was talking about. Not a whole lot of magic about the GFI plug. Either it's tripped or it's not tripped. Pan over and look at the shower. Shower is designed so you can stand outside the shower, get the temperature to where you want it, and then get in the shower. There's got an on-off switch right there at the head. It's designed so you can get wet, turn it off, get soaked up, then turn it back on and get rinsed off. So you're making good use of the water. Next thing to show you is the toilet. I don't know if I can show this all at one time. Use the toilet, especially if you're going to have a bowel movement, big growler. Here you want to push up on the pedal. You can hear the pump. We're not hooked up to water, so you hear the pump going. Fill up the bowl about halfway. Take a big growler and go ahead and flush it. If you're just going to take a pee, you don't need to fill up the bowl. It already has a little bit of water in it. And then just go ahead and just pee and then flush it. That should be fine. RVS To Go has its own dump site, one of the few companies that does. You're not required to bring back the holding tanks empty. We're going to sanitize them for you, just like we did for you. We're going to do it for the next renter as well. So you're not required to bring it back empty. We do require that you use that. That's a formaldehyde-free base chemical. You can buy extra. We provide the first one. You can buy extra ones of those for $5 a piece. We'll buy them back if you don't use them. Just let us know how many you want for your trip. And that's it. We're going to head towards the front door and hopefully get outside here. Okay, we're right here at the steps. Obviously, you can see the second step. The second step is actually access to the batteries. We put 2 batteries in here, deep cycle, 27 series, so they're really good batteries. And we put 2 of them in there. Those are referred to as the house batteries. That's what I was referring to as DC. Those batteries get charged by 3 ways: by running the motorhome down the road, by it being hooked up to electricity, and by running the generator. All 3 ways will charge up the batteries on the house batteries. So, an example, you're out in the middle of the woods and you run the batteries down. Well, next thing, you don't have shore power because you're out in the middle of the woods. You're going to kick on the generator. Well, guess what? The generator won't start because the battery's too low. Well, you're going to have to turn on the vehicle. You don't actually have to run down the road, but you have to run the engine for about 5 minutes. And it will put enough of a charge on the batteries so that you can start the generator, then you can turn them off. So, anyway, pan over here. This is a battery disconnect. This is for our benefit, so that you can we can store it so we don't run down the batteries. This is an outside light, and then here's an electric awning. So push that, the electric awning goes out. Grant's going to back up and give you a shot of that. Once it gets out, then these are some tensioners you can go ahead and tighten. I'm going to warn you about the awning. These are expensive. You don't want to leave them unattended if it's windy. You come back and the wind's caught this stuff and bent the arms or whatever. You're going to end up taking a butter knife and cutting that thing off and putting these arms back on. So it's going to cost you a lot of money. So we would suggest that you do not leave it unattended. It also thinks that if the key's in the ignition that you're driving down the road. So lots of times people will be cleaning up and getting ready to go, start up the engine, and they can't get the awning to go back in. That's because the key's in the ignition. So just bear that in mind. I'm going to go ahead and run this in. If it's windy, sometimes these won't line up. So the next thing I want you to do is take a look. Make sure it's nice and snug here. If it was windy and blowing, it might have gotten off to one side. Get in the habit, if you're going to have the door open, have it latched. There's a latch right there. Make sure you have it latched. Screen door right there. hot water heater. We went ahead and lit the hot water tank again just so you could hear, and this is extremely warm, so you can hear the sound of the hot water heater going. Access is right here. Got a flame going, so extremely hot when in use. I can't stress that enough. Just make sure the kids don't get burnt. Another reason just to have it on just before you're going to take a shower. Furnace exhaust, exactly the same thing. You want to make sure that if the kids you have the furnace on, the kids know that this is going to be extremely hot when in use. This is a refrigerator vent. These are vents. These are open holes. When it's on liquid propane gas, it needs to draw in air, just because it's a flame, just like any other fire. We already told you to make sure that you have the refrigerator off when you go into the gas station. Another thing is you don't want to store anything flammable sitting here. So if you're quad riding or had motorcycles or stuff, you don't want to store gas cans and stuff right around here. Some really convenient outlets right here. If the motorhome's hot, what we call hot, if the motorhome has power, then these have power. Really convenient. Bring a small little extension cord, and you can actually plug in and run a fry pan or skillet out here during the morning. Have the kids cook you breakfast. You have a couple of storages here and here, and then you have a real large storage here. Nice and convenient. Lift this up. So we're going to wheel around the other side, show you how to hook up systems to the sewer and water, and show you some driving tips. Okay, we're presuming you've backed into the space already, and you're usually on the driver's side. I'm going to hook up to water, electricity, and even possibly the dump station. So go ahead and pull out the short cord. There is a drop hole right here at the bottom. You can actually drop the cord through the bottom of the motorhome. Drop it right down through the bottom of the motorhome like this. You have about 25 foot of short power cord, so you got a lot of cord, so you don't have to be parked right up against the outlet. This is where the coaxial cable is, by the way, just as a tip. Now this is the 30 amp service, so this is what all RVs are, or most RVs are. So this is what we want you to plug into when available. We do provide you with what's called a park adapter. Converts a 30 to a 15. This is residential, just like at home. So we do that so if you were taking off, going home, you're taking off tomorrow, and you wanted to plug in electricity at home, then you had a conversion, or if you, during your trip, end up staying with friends or relatives or whatever. Anyway, you take the 30 amp short power cord, go ahead and just place it in the correct device, turn it on, and you have power. So microwave should work, TV, DVD player should work, roof air conditioner, all the plug-ins should work without running the generator. So anyway, next thing to show you is the water connection. This is city water connection, just like it says. And this is the fresh. We labeled it fresh or portable or potable. It was fresh on the indicator panel inside, so we put a sign that said fresh there so that you, this is your potable, portable water that you're taking with you. Approved water hose. You'd hook up one end to the city pressure, and you'd hook the other end up to the faucet. Simply just turn on the faucet, and it's going to pressurize the hose. It's going to pressurize all the lines. You don't need to use the water pump because you're not using this water. Remember, you're using the city water. Before you take off that day, what you might want to do is check and see how much fresh water you have on there. While you're already hooked up the water spigot, go ahead and unhook here. Go ahead and top off the water tank. That way, down the road, 20 miles or 30 miles you want to roll over, you have plenty of water if you wanted to flush the toilet or whatnot. Regular unleaded gas, make sure you bring it back full of gas. We're going to get reset up on the dump station here, show you the propane, the generator, give you a couple of driving tips, and we're almost got you out of here. This is your sewer cap, your sewer dump cap. You just once you get to needing to dump the holding tanks, you know that because you looked at the indicator, black and the gray, and then take off the sewer cap, just like this, and then take the sewer hose, which is inside here. It has the same ears. Go ahead and just turn this on and attach the sewer hose, and then you'd put the hose into the dump station. Open this up, and then obviously this would be attached. Open this up, and then it exposes both of the holding tanks. We've labeled these but don't count on us labeling these if the labels fall off. Labeled one gray and one black for your convenience. These are just gate valves, so you just pull them out there. What I really want you to understand is how these systems work. This little valve here is only 1.5 inches. That's all. The bigger it is. Look how big that is. That's 3 inches. So obviously, which one do you think is going to be which one? Well, obviously the one with the sewage and the toilet paper and the crap is going to be the bigger valve. So when you're ready to dump, we want you to go ahead and hook up to the dump station. We want you to pull the black valve, pull it straight out, dump all the sewage. Once you stop hearing it run out, you go ahead and pull the gray valve. You just pull the valve out just like this, and then that will clean that sewage and toilet paper out of the hose, hopefully, for you too. You're not required, again, you're not required to bring back the tank empty. We're going to dump it. Even if you do dump it, we're going to sanitize it for the next renter anyway, so it's up to you. Next thing I'm going to show you is the propane. Just pan over here. Propane tank happens to be on the driver's side on this one. I think Grant, most of them are on the passenger side. This one happens to be on the driver's side. So anyway, they're labeled propane, and they can't, by law, they can't be locked. It is your job, your responsibility. We're going to check this when you bring it back to make sure that this yellow cap, I don't know if you can see this yellow cap right here, this yellow cap is actually attached. If it's coming in like this, we're going to be pissed, because this is all open. Propane is all open system, and that's going to get all dirty, and next time they go fill it, it could be hard. You're going to get the rubber seal in here dirty, and so it's your responsibility to make the attendant, or verify that the attendant puts it on. Well, most of them are pretty good about doing that. Now's the time I usually talk a little bit about propane. Biggest consumer of propane is the furnace. Obviously in the summertime, if you're not running the furnace, you're not going to burn much propane. Next biggest consumer would be the hot water tank, and then very minimal use on the refrigerator and the stove. So we're going to get reset up and show you how to run the generator. Now taking a look at the generator, you know it's the generator compartment because you can see the generator exhaust right there. Since this is a slide out and we have it slid in, there's no way to hold this up. So I'm just going to hold it up with one hand. Access to the generator, 2 wing nuts, real simple. Pull it off, boom, you got access to it. Here's the same start-stop switch that you saw before. You prime it, light will come on, you can start it right here. What's really important here is the breaker switch, which you're not going to be able to pick up on the video, but it's right here, a little toggle switch. It says breaker switch. That's what I want you to show you. If you happen to trip the breaker, obviously I want you to know where to re-trip it at. Now you know you tripped the breaker. You'll be able to tell you tripped the breaker because you can hear, you got an audible. You can hear the generator going, can't you? Okay, but guess what? The microwave light doesn't work. Okay, again, that's my little indicator species. That tells me that the breaker on the generator has been tripped. Now, might have happened because it's overloaded. Let's say you were running the air conditioner and somebody decided to watch TV, microwave, and a hairdryer all at the same time. Well, something's going to give. You're going to end up tripping the breaker. The other way is you might start the generator under load. Remember I said don't start it under load. Always turn off, make sure the air conditioner is off before you start it. Well, that's one way to do it. Also, don't stop the generator under load. So if it's been running for a couple hours with the air conditioner working hard to keep you cool, turn off the air conditioner and let it run. Let the generator run for a couple of minutes to let it cool down and actually cool down and before you shut the generator down completely at that point. At this point, we're going to give you a couple of driving tips, and somebody should have given you a inventory checkout sheet for physical damage, so you can walk around if there's been any pre-existing damage. You're more than welcome to climb on the roof, document any damage inside and outside, read both sides of the checkout sheet before you sign it, and we'll get you on the way. We're going to give you a couple of driving tips, get set up here and give you a couple of driving tips and get you out of here. A couple of good driving tips for you is, first off, the height of these motorhomes are 12 foot to the top of the air conditioner. Guaranteed whatever you hit is probably not going to be marked. Overhead branches, it's going to be something like limbs. If you get turned around in an old neighborhood and a lot of old trees in there. You just got to be cautious and watch out for it. The next biggest thing is backing up. We get a few people that will completely back into something. Can't rely upon that backup camera. Again, it's not going to tell you that you're hitting branches up above. Use it as a guide so you can be watching the person that's helping you back up. We do get a little bit of tail dragging. This does have a nice sweep to it, but if you're coming through a big ditch, you know, you're coming out of, let's say you're coming out of a gas station going into a highly crowned road, you want to hit that at a 45. You don't want to hit that straight on, because you'll end up dragging the back bumper and tear off the hitch and stuff like that. By and far, most of the damage we get is related to some sort to tail swing. You notice that the back axle right here is almost 10 foot ahead of the bumper, and so that pivot point is the back axle. So what that does is creates what's called tail swing. So when you turn the vehicle to the right, the ass end of this thing will swing to the left. Depending on the length of it, 2.5 to 3 feet. Conversely, you turn the vehicle to the left, and the ass end is going to swing off to the other side about 2.5 to 3 feet. Really nothing you can do about it except for maybe you go into an intersection a little bit further than you normally do before you start the turn, and then make more of a sharp turn, so more of 90-degree turns, if you will. But really, you just have to be aware of it. If you're turning the vehicle to the right, your face should be in that left-hand mirror. You should be looking in the left-hand mirror. It sounds pretty doggone simple, but I got to tell you, you know, that's not what you do in a car. In a car, you turn left, you look left, turn right, look right. I'm going to demonstrate the tail swing. Well, that's it. You guys are on the road. Have a safe trip. Hopefully this tips we gave you, driving tips, will keep you safe. Just don't get in a big hurry. This is a big autumn, or it's a big vehicle. People will see you coming, so just don't get in a big hurry. Be safe out there. If you are watching this online, make sure you can pass the test when you get there. You're going to have to watch the video again in the motorhome. Go ahead, at this time, go ahead and take that physical damage inventory sheet and fill it out and come get us. We'll get you on the road. Have a safe trip.